Hey guys, this is video lesson 1.4 and we're going to talk about angle measure. It's a very short, simple lesson, mostly vocab. So let's get started. Open up the guided notes and we'll get to it. Okay, first, angle with a measure of 90 degrees. Well, that's a right angle. Okay. Next, where two rays meet to form an angle, that is called a vertex. Next, an angle with a measure greater than 90 degrees. That is an obtuse angle. A ray that divides an angle into two congruent angles. So it's going to split up into two congruent angles. It is a angle bisector. Next, the region of a plane inside an angle, well, that is the interior. Keep it going. An angle with a measure less than 90 degrees, well, that's an acute angle. A ray that forms part of an angle, that's simply just known as the side. Part of line with one endpoint that extends forever, well, we already said this word a couple times, that's a ray. An angle, well, just kind of said it right there. Formed by two non-collinear rays with a common endpoint. Well, it's what we've been talking about. It's an angle. Next, the units used to measure angles. It is degrees. Now, I will give out bonus for anyone who is actually watching this video and can also tell me the other unit used to measure angles. Super secret bonus points right now. Alright, next, the last one, or last two. Extended two directions from a point on a line. Those are called opposite rays, also known as a straight angle. And the last one, the region of a plane outside of an angle, well, it's the opposite of, like, the fifth one there. It is the exterior. So those are the vocab. Make sure you guys know that. Now what I'm going to do next is actually make a drawing of the angle and labeling all the parts. Well, not all the parts, the important parts. So let's go do that. First, what we need in an angle are two rays that are connected. So a ray has a point, goes on forever. And so when we have two rays that have the same endpoint, there we go. That endpoint is called a vertex. Vertex. This is why I type everything out. And these are called sides. Right here is the interior. And on the outside, here's the exterior. Okay, next what we're going to do, just simply be able to identify different types of angles and understand the way that we can write them. Now we're going to draw and label obtuse, acute, and right. Well, obtuse angles have angles that are greater than 90 degrees. So it's like a big angle, wide open, and so we'll call this obtuse. An acute angle is less than 90, and so usually we draw something smaller. Now, right angles meet at a corner. Now, if you actually look and probably measure this, it looks like it's less than 90 degrees for my drawing, but how we denote that it's a right angle, we put a box in a corner, and that means now we know that angle is exactly 90 degrees, and it's a right angle. Okay, next, draw and label one angle that has three names. So B, ABC, and angle 3. So this kind of is showing you that there's three different ways that we can label an angle. And so let's make an angle here. Here we go, I got an obtuse angle. Well, what we know first, if we want to call this angle B, that means the vertex has to be B. And since it's angle ABC, we always put the vertex in the middle and the two sides. So it starts at A, goes through B, ends with C. Now, just like a line, what we could do, because sometimes it gets a little confusing on what angle we want to talk about, ABC, ABD, and so on and so forth, what we can do is just call this angle 3. Now, we're going to make a side note off here. Note, if we ever have an angle like this, where we have multiple angles, and I can go ahead and call this, okay, A, B, C, D, and E. There is no angle E. Alright, because how do I know angle E is this angle, or is it the whole angle, or is it this angle in the middle, or this angle in the middle and the end? You never know. So if you ever have an angle that could be more than one, there's none. Alright, well, that pretty much is it for this section. Fairly easy. We're only going to spend one day on this. So if you have any questions, make sure you ask. Make sure you guys are staying on top of the CYUs. And if you ever fall behind, try to catch up. Remember, I'm not going to freak out on you as long as you do your homework before it's due. If you start doing other things in class and aren't doing the work at home, that's when I get at you. Alright, take it easy. Have a good night.